All right. Hello, and thank you, everyone, for joining us today. My name is Adam Blackington. I am a Partner Solutions Architect at Amazon Web Services, and I will be moderating today's session. A few housekeeping items prior to kicking things off. I'd like to remind everyone of the chat window. Feel free to submit any follow-up questions there. Additionally, be sure to stay until the end of today's session in order for your chance to be one of 3 winners for a $100 Amazon gift card. Today, I am joined by Seth Sickel of SLING TV and Brad Schweibel of Pipestream. Before we get started, I was hoping to do a round of introductions. Seth, would you mind introducing yourself and giving us a little bit of background about yourself?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Like Adam said, my name is Seth Sickel. I'm the VP of Operations and Customer Experience here at SLING TV. I joined SLING about 6 months before we launched the product, so I've been here since day one, seen every customer come through, and got to grow with the company. So very excited to be here today, and look forward to the questions.
Thanks, Seth. Brad, would you mind introducing yourself as well?
Absolutely, Adam. My name is Brad Schweibel. I run sales for Pipestream. Thank you very much for coming today. We're really here today to listen to one of our customers describe their journey in selecting an intelligent automated messaging platform for their customers. So I want to thank you, Seth, for coming on behalf of Pipestream. And Adam, thank you very much for moderating this today. Pipestream offers a customer engagement platform. It's a combination of conversational artificial intelligence and automation that shows up in an app-style interface. It's multimodal, it's multi-channel, and our goal is simple. We want our customers to love their brands more because they can self-service anytime, night or day, in a form, in a mode that's comfortable and intuitive for them. And as a result, it drives higher levels of customer satisfaction. And then on the back end, of course, we want to be able to help lower operational costs for taking care of and serving customers. We can integrate into back-end systems. We live on the AWS cloud, and we definitely are part of a seamless connection with Amazon Connect.
Thanks, Brad. And as I mentioned before, my name is Adam Blackington. I'm a Partner Solutions Architect with AWS, where I support Pipestream, who is an ISV Accelerate partner. Pipestream has more than 25 customers live on AWS today and is also available on the AWS Marketplace. Let's get started. Seth, what are some of the biggest issues you see as your role as a customer experience leader?
Yeah, thanks, Adam. I think it's a number of things today. I mean, obviously, we work in a very fast-changing industry. So our competitive pressures, there's new entrants into the marketplace every day. There's new forms of contact methods. So, a lot of our focus here at SLING is around meeting customers where they want to meet. So how do they want to receive service? So, when we launched 6 years ago, that was mostly voice, email, chat, and self-help. Today that's Twitter and WhatsApp and Facebook and Apple Business Messenger and an endless number of other platforms. It's really allowed us to have various conversations with our customers, but where they want to receive support, we're present. So obviously we're learning that every day and experiencing the changes in the industry from a technology perspective. But I think that's what makes live TV streaming so exciting, and obviously a lot of parallels to what makes customer experience and customer support exciting.
Very interesting. What stood out to you about Pipestream's solution?
Yeah, so just to kind of take it back from when we started working with Pipestream, Pipestream was in its very early stages. This was, 5+ years ago. We were also a new company at the time. They were selling a new product in the space in conversational AI, which most companies at the time really wasn't taking that seriously. So at SLING TV, we were delivering the first ever live TV streaming service across live and on-demand programming. and really looking at ways to not just differentiate ourselves from our product line, but how we service customers. We knew a lot of experience, obviously, with Dish within Sling, and we knew how customers reached out to us, but we knew that also in the streaming space, that was quite different. So as a disruptor in broadcast television, we knew the importance of constantly thinking about the future role of technology and the facets of the business. We looked at Pipestream as a great partner that we could grow with. Certainly had great alignment with the CEO of Pipestream and the future of conversational AI and automated help. And I think, from our standpoint, we're really excited to be early adopters and to experiment and grow with Pipestream's platform.
Thank you, Seth. Brad, now I want to ask you, how is your chatbot sort of different from all of the other chatbots out there?
Good question, Adam. I would boil it down to two categories. First being the technology platform itself. We really view ourselves as the next generation of chatbot that goes way beyond texting back and forth with a computer. And in this rich media engaging age for the consumer, they would rather play a video game than text back and forth. So we have very rich embeds. We swipe and we tap more than we type. And we have natural process flows that go through the platform that really draw the consumer in and are intuitive and easy to figure out. And then I would just say that our platform's intelligent, it's hyper personalized, and it's predictive. And we integrate seamlessly with backend systems and call centers. And then from a deployment perspective, we have the fastest time to market. We can have customers up and running in days and weeks instead of months or years. And we do all the legwork for our clients. We build these solutions with and for our clients, and we don't just throw a technology stack over the wall and have the customers have to rely on it, not only to build it, but to improve it. And I'd say that's really what makes Pipestream stand out.
Thanks, Brad. Since KPIs sort of vary from customer to customer, can you tell us about the way you can track KPIs?
Yeah, and absolutely, because every business is different. Every customer is different in terms of how they define success. This could be as simple as tracking containment or call deflection, and on the customer satisfaction level, looking at NPS or CSAT scores, or maybe having a comprehensive view that indicates growing lifetime value of the customer. Our team comes in and makes sure that we have the right metrics that we're tracking, but more importantly, we measure performance consistently and constantly with the customer so that we can see how things are progressing. And we come to our customers and we bring thoughtful ideas and suggestions about how we can improve performance of the system and of the use cases over time. So it's not necessarily where we begin with our KPIs, but we want to see those KPIs improve every day that they're a customer of Pipestream.
Great answers, Brad. Seth, what was the process to get Pipestream stood up?
Yeah, Adam. So when we started the process, we were up and running within 3 months, and that was from start to finish. But the majority of that time was spent on designing and building our custom solution from scratch. So we spent about the first 2 months with Pipestream success team, as well as our CXO team and IT teams to sketch out flows and the specific use cases that we believed our customers needed. At the time, we relied on mostly our voice and existing chat platform transcripts to understand which use cases. And that time will vary a little bit about how many use cases, based on how many use cases you take on in the beginning. So the actual work that Pipestream had to do, building out our solution and tweaking it until we felt like it was ready to go to market. Actual launch and implementation was really the easy part. It only takes, it took us very little time and effort to implement the chat platform in our system. It was all about how many use cases we wanted to support from day one.
Thank you. Could you tell me how SLING TV is predictive with their customers using Pipestream?
Yeah, certainly. This is certainly something that's been an ongoing focus for us. Not only proactively understanding why customers are contacting us, but be able to offer them immediate 24 assistance for any issues. So one thing that's unique about Sling is, our customer service hours are 6 to 11 p.m. So we really rely on Pipestream and our chat system to support customers 24/7, and that's certainly what it's been able to deliver. But from a proactive nature, one thing that we had been working on over the last year was to develop an integration with Conviva, which is our partnership for viewership data. And that allows us the opportunity for more personalized troubleshooting for technical issues. So we can leverage viewership and experience data to offer a more personalized care experience. This allows Pipestream to ask smarter questions. So for instance, instead of what problem are you experiencing that we could ask a customer, we can ask it, we can say something like, it looks like you experienced a specific error code message. Is that correct? And that really speeds up the time it takes a customer to contact us and get through that care experience and make sure that their issue is addressed.
I imagine customers must really enjoy that experience, right? Being able to not have to explain their problem, right? Being actually asked if they're experiencing that. Have you received any feedback from your customers about that?
Yeah, certainly when we look at the data, I mean, it's not like these customers are reaching out to us daily, right?
Sure.
So they may have an issue once a month or once a year. And based on that, we want to make sure that we get their issue addressed as quickly as possible. And then getting back to what they're paying for which is watching live TV and on demand. So for us, that speed to answer a question, to understand that issue, to make sure that customers understand that we are, we're listening, we're paying attention, that we're there with them, and being more proactive, it becomes really important to us.
Great. Brad, could you tell me more about how Pipestream is able to identify when there are outages?
Yeah, and this was Seth's brainchild. We really have to bring that to the service, because can you imagine in their Sling's environment where their customers are spending a lot of money for premium content? Maybe they're watching a fight or a special show, and there's a disruption in that. They know they're going to get a phone call. So instead of having the customer go through everything they experience, they're beating them to the punch. And it's this proactive customer service concept that really has helped invigorate a lot of use cases on our end. And Seth, I really appreciate the idea. So we have a partnership, as Seth mentioned, with Conviva, and what Sling can do is they can track when those outages happen, and that's able to allow us to have a feeder on the front end, so that when we're now engaging with someone that's had a disruption, we have a different way that we treat them. We have a personalized journey that meshes with them, and we're trying to capture that in the moment. So that's been incredible. We have a number of use cases that have come out as a result of this. In banking, it's easier for us to get hold of a customer ahead of time to let them know that their balance is almost overdrawn. And hey, now's the time to transfer some funds. But instead of letting them know about that, we can actually make it actionable in the moment. So you're about ready to go overdraft. Can we transfer some funds now? We enter in a security code, the funds are transferred, and we've avoided a problem, and we've avoided the need for a contact into the call center. We have this in healthcare. Someone goes and gets lab results or goes and gets a blood test. And instead of waiting for them to go to their next doctor appointment, we can proactively reach out to them to let them know, hey, your cholesterol was high. We need to have you come back in and schedule an appointment with the doctor. So we're proactive. We're not letting time go by. We're not letting events happen before we can take corrective action. And we see this in e-commerce all the time as well, especially after shipments. And e-commerce has been so focused on post-sale and then getting the package delivered that there really hasn't been thoughtful, proactive outreaches when we know there's been problems, or certainly when we can ask about someone's experience. So these are things that really have spawned off of Seth's idea and Sling's implementation of proactive digital automation with their customers.
Thanks, Brad. Could you tell me a little bit more about how Pipestream can be transactional?
Yeah, absolutely. So within Pipestream, from a transactional perspective, you can complete transactions or processes. We can, for instance, we can process payments as we do with Sling within their interface. We can add credit cards. We can change credit cards. We can schedule appointments. We can schedule a time for a technician to come out to your home. And, in complete transactions that you would normally have to pick up the phone and establish, or sometimes figure out how to go to the web and navigate through screens to be able to get it accomplished. So not only can we surface the need through a conversational front end by simply asking a question, I need to pay my bill or make a statement, within that moment, we can actually execute on that. And then by executing, we're integrating with all the backend systems. So all the legacy backend systems that the support staff would normally have to have access to complete a transaction, we'll integrate into those through APIs, whether they're REST or Stomp or SOAP or XML pushes or RPA tools. There hasn't been a system we haven't been able to integrate into and put this new digital layer front end on top of.
That's really interesting. So it sounds a lot more than just a simple text-based knowledge management directed chatbot, which is great to see. What other systems does Pipestream integrate with? For the folks on the call who may be using or interested in using something like Amazon Connect, tell us how Pipestream integrates with Connect and other platforms.
Yeah, seamlessly integrates with Amazon Connect. And can you imagine this? Amazon Connect, of course, is there to power a call center when they're open. And as Seth has indicated, the call center in their instance doesn't run 24/7, but we have customers that are up all night watching TV. So we can fill the gap so that people don't have to wait to get things done. And this is especially important in Amazon Connect world. So we have this new digital experience that goes on front end. When we need to transfer to a live agent within Connect, we can do that for chat. We can do that for phone, and they're engaged, they're locked in, and then we can send them back to the experience as well. So I can not only go between systems, from a single direction perspective, I can go back and forth and be where the customer needs to be served in the moment to provide those wow experiences for them and to really satisfy them.
Very interesting. Could you talk to us a bit about agent escalation? Was this important to you? When did you sort of want that to occur?
Now, I think that question's probably for Seth, right?
Yeah, I can
You
certainly.
know what? I'm sorry about that. Yes,
That's
sir.
all right. Well, Seth's the one that has to deal with agent escalation, so I thought we would let him answer that.
Yeah, absolutely. So for us, balancing automation with agent escalation is a really important part to the customer care, because we need to ensure customers receive the kind of assistance they need and they want. So for instance, there's a number of things and a number of scenarios that we think maybe there's a point where we want an agent to step in and assist. Now, I will say, as we've completed more integrations along the way, that obviously has been reduced. So, but there are still a number of different cancel for, as an example today, that we just choose to involve an agent in to make sure that we have the customer set up, make sure that there's nothing we can do to keep that customer with us. So we do that through an agent today. But most of our use cases today, we can handle through automation. And there's certain points in the automation flow that we opt and we can choose to send them to agents. So our focus today, it's kind of a nice structure, because we can look at our contact volume through other channels. Why are customers contacting us? Where are they seeing issues? And that really builds our roadmap from an AI perspective. And in the early days, a lot of that may mean, hey, I want to change programming. I'm going to send you to my account and make it really easy to understand how I can go through my account to update programming. But today, you can do that right in the bot. So Brad talked a little bit about the transactional capabilities, where we can allow a customer to, upgrade from orange to add blue to that service, or maybe add the sports extra. And we do that all through the bot, or a number of the things that a customer may needed to use my account for in the past. They no longer need to go through that extra step. It's one click to do things like restart. And working on a number of other transactional flows that'll just make it easier for the customers. That's also a lot of the technology that we're building into our app today. So Can you just do it with one click of the remote while you're watching? How do we continue to make it easier for a user? How do we continue to focus on being proactive for our customer base and making sure that they can experience our entire product and our entire product library?
Seth, you talk about the impact on the consumer, and that's really helpful. And we would expect those things, and you've delivered them. But people rarely talk about the impact on the agent. And have you seen a shift in the way that you can retain agents and in your agent satisfaction with their jobs, that they're not just dealing with the boring, mundane, over and over questions that you've now automated? How has that impacted their lives, and how has that impacted your ability to serve your customers?
Yeah, I mean, I always look at 2 data points. I look at what are our customers telling us, what are they experiencing, and then also how do I like to receive care. So when I'm working with a company, what do I prefer? And for me, I think it's really important that when you're talking to our bot and you get to the point where you have to escalate to an agent, that you don't start over. I don't want to explain my issue again. I want you to start up right where I left off and be able to comprehend the issue and help me solve that as quickly as possible. So what we've built into our platform together is a lot of ways to authenticate users and to speed up that process, so that when an agent gets a specific case, they're not starting from scratch. They're starting right there where the customer left off. And so that certainly has a massive improvement on the overall customer experience of resolution, but also just the speed. There's 30 seconds, there's a minute here and there that we just cut off of that transaction, that conversation, because it's not needed, because that information has already been given through our platform. So it's something we look at every day and really focus on.
You're right. And in this market, you see consumers, and consumers want 2 things. They don't want to tell you the same thing twice. If I just told it to you, I don't want to repeat it. And then I shouldn't have to tell you things that I already know about you. That it's just an expectation. And that minute that you're saving off of their time is, it's valuable for your company. It's valuable for the consumer. What things do you see, Seth? I mean, you look out in the market and you see the future, and you have a good perch to do that from. But as someone who oversees one of the most significant global call center operations in the world and digital interaction places in the world, how do you see consumer behavior changing in the next 1, 2, 3 years? What's on the horizon for us, and what are we going to have to deal with from an automation perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think the platforms are changing rapidly, right? You picked up the phone, then we went through a phase where everyone was getting help through the computer, and now we're back to mobile, but not through voice. And really, mobile means the ability to chat. We think about things like asynchronous chat, where not only do I want to contact you on my timeline, but I want to be able to come in and out of care. And it may take me, because I'm working and I'm sending a message here and there. I really need a platform that allows me to communicate with you on my timeline. And so that's a number of the other areas. And then I mentioned it earlier, but when we're talking about social and contact platforms, that is literally changing every month. So when we launched, we weren't necessarily thinking about Twitter and Facebook and WhatsApp and what these platforms could become. And obviously we weren't thinking about Apple Business Chat and Facebook Messenger as forms of contact. And these are platforms, Reddit, that we talk about every single day.
Yeah, excellent. And as you think about those social channels, not only do you have to provide customer service within them, but now those are a voice of the customer to other customers. And how are you going to use that voice to continue to promote your brand and the offerings that you have as a company?
Yeah, I mean, I think like most companies, right, our customer base is our best point of referrals. It's our best point of promoting the product. So every one of these interactions with customers gives us the opportunity to turn a customer into a promoter. So it allows them to experience our product, and hopefully our care is equal to the product that we're delivering every single day. So we love that. And obviously, with social, it's become a very real-time platform to to get feedback. Today, just this morning, we launched our new UI on Amazon. So we've been working for the last 6 months on a redesigned UI UX for SLING, something that we've heard from our customers that we need. And we delivered that this morning and started rolling that out. And obviously, from a social perspective, that's where we were listening this morning early on. That's where we were getting the most feedback on what is the customer experience like? What is media saying about it? What do we like about the new app compared to the old? What would they still like to see? And obviously that customer feedback just drives so many of our roadmaps, whether it's our customer experience roadmap, whether it's our product roadmap, our marketing roadmap. That's where we're focused on receiving that feedback and being able to action upon it.
Seth, you've had some impressive metrics. You've delivered solid performance for your company through this platform. I know we're not going to talk about specific numbers, but one thing that is indicative of SLING is that you've had continuous improvement. Every year your metrics improve by double digits. And as CX executives, and we have a number of CX executives on the line, what have you done to be able to help drive that kind of improvement year over year? Because normally people are installing these type of automated experiences or chat bots, and they put them in, they walk away, and they may do okay, but they become stale. So what are you doing to keep things fresh and alive and consistently and constantly moving the needle for your consumers?
Yeah, in this world, we look at a lot of what we call containment rate, and that's what a lot of the companies look at. And I wouldn't think of containment rate just as, well, I don't need an agent to be involved and that saves us money, but what's the better value of that, which is the customer got that issue resolved in one touch and didn't need to pick up the phone. They didn't need to find another contact method. Their problem's solved and they're back to watching TV. And when we started out on the platform, to be honest, 6 years ago, that was pretty minimalist because we were learning. We hadn't done a lot of the integrations that it takes to really contain all of these flows. It was more of a, we could send the customer to the right path to get their question answered, but we may send them to my account. We may send them more to an agent than we do today. And at launch, our containment was somewhere closer to 25%. But today, we see containment on most of our flows close to 45%. And so it just tells you what you're able to do for, when you get the right integrations in place. And once again, that's just how many customers can contact us that can get that question answered right away without any escalation to another platform.
How do you change your dashboards, and how have you modified your dashboards over time so that you're really surfacing the wow moments you're creating for your customer? We could have 100% containment today simply by keeping people boxed in the system. But you figured out this delicate balance between the right number of live agents, the right use cases for live agents, and what you're going to automate. How have you managed that from a metrics perspective and from a strategy perspective so that you've continued to deliver these results?
Yeah, I think it's important in this world to make sure that CSAT drives kind of everything you do in customer feedback. So as long as you stay true to CSAT and listening to the customer, understanding what they like, how are they rating those interactions, and you make your decisions based on that, I don't think you're going to go wrong. So, your goal cannot be 100% containment. My guess is if it is, you're going to have pretty low CSAT. But there's certainly a balance. And as we try more things, we're not going to get them all right, but we're going to try a number of things every single day, see what customers like, see what resonates, and invest more in those areas. And with every use case that we launch, we learn something about how to improve a previously launched use case or how to get better as we're thinking about our future roadmap.
In corresponding to that answer, if you had this to do all over again, tomorrow you were hired by another digital media company, you showed up, they had no automation, how would you change the priority of what you went after first based upon what you've learned here?
Yeah, to me, and one of the things that I think we did really well is it's just important to get a platform out there, because the learning that you'll get from real data is so much more important than than what you can imagine. And voice isn't always applicable, but it's a good guide. So how are customers contacting you through other channels? That gives you a little bit of insight, obviously, to what your contact drivers are. So those are some easy wins. But get a platform out there, start to learn, and then let the data really drive you forward. So what's your burning issues? And then obviously it's not just about level of contact for each issue, but it's also level of effort. How quickly can I get a solution out of market that say, that may, I may be looking at how quickly I can get a change subscription feature out of the market, or maybe the ability to change your username, right? Change your email that's associated with your account. And I can look at contact volume to understand kind of scale of both of those issues, but also level of effort. If I can get one of those features out in a week or two, I may opt to do that, learn, and continue to develop on other features. So I think it's priceless just to get a platform stood up so you can start learning in real time.
And what was one of the biggest challenges you had with this? That something that you weren't expecting that you had to deal with? We've talked about all the good things that we've had, and I think those have been positive. And we've talked about the future, but what was a challenge for you during this?
Yeah, I mean, I guess one of the things that jumps out to me is how fast the number of contact methods would grow after we launched, what originally was just really a chat platform, through our help site, accessible through our help site. But then the thought of wanting to take conversational AI to Twitter and take conversational AI to Facebook Messenger and Apple Business Chat. I certainly wasn't prepared for that 6 years ago. And that's been a good learning opportunity. The good news, though, there is with the right partner, you shouldn't have to think about all of that on your own. The platform itself, the partner that you choose to go with for conversational AI should be staying ahead of that. And we're fortunate that our partner is. So.
Well, Seth, we've been fortunate to have you as a customer, and I know we have a number of prospects on the phone that have been considering this technology. And if you were in their chair today and they were trying to select a vendor, and they're trying to figure out which technology do they go after, what would be some principles that you would tell them today?
Yeah, I look at the platform as a great way to be able to interact with our customers on their preferred platform 24/7. So I've mentioned that a number of times. And from our experience, automating and building out self-service options for our customers has been a really effective strategy. It's allowed us to really improve our customer care offering. And depending on the demographics of any company's specific customer base, you'll have to decide what's the right balance between live help and automation. Obviously, there's multiple industries, even that you've referenced today, and that's going to vary a little bit across industry. But the fact is that even moderate automation is going to lead to efficiencies over time, and that's certainly what we've seen and continue to see every day.
Seth, thanks for allowing us to serve you. Thanks for being a customer of Pipestream. It's been an exciting journey. We can't wait to see what's ahead. Thanks for always pushing us to do more than sometimes we expect we can do. And it's just been world class. So I know we appreciate it. We appreciate the relationships we have with your team. And it's a real honor to serve SLING. So Adam, with that, I'm going to turn it back to you just to wrap up and help us close out from here.
Absolutely. So, I did have one more question I kind of wanted to throw at Seth here, if you don't mind. I was just curious about your starting point, right, from like a containment rate and customer satisfaction score, and where you are today and how that's improved since using Pipestream.
Yeah. So, obviously, as I mentioned, two metrics that we follow closely. I think the real promising thing that we've seen from a CSAT perspective is we're not seeing a big delta now between agent-assisted chat and conversational AI chat. And I think once you find that delta where you're able to perform the same level of customer experience, regardless whether an agent is involved, I think we're certainly finding our stride from that perspective. And I talked about containment throughout a couple of the answers, but I think the important thing there is to really try to figure out our balance. And we've learned a lot about what level of containment we want, but it really does become a really specific use case. You have to look at every use case individualized. We may be striving for a different containment goal for a specific use case than a different use case, right? So for example, I mentioned this, but today our cancel containment rate is 0 because we escalate every one of those to agents and we still feel really good about that decision. But something like change subscription that you're looking, you may want to add Sports Extra or Showtime and watch something very quickly. I want that to be a single click of a button, opt into that and get to watching the programming that you wanted. So that's a use case that I would really want to see extremely high containment if we're doing everything right to surface the content, to make that easy for a customer to get the data that they need and make that purchase decision.
Okay, Brad, is this kind of improvement common among your customers?
It is, but I think Seth brings up a good point because the use case really drives the type of success we have. We have some customers that we're able to serve in the government space. We have really, really high containment results for them, but it's in a situation where they have a monopoly. They can serve the customers adequately, but we don't necessarily allow them as freely to escalate outside of the process. So we'll see containment rates, in the 90%, sometimes in 100%. But again, where we're seeing that, Adam, it's in industries where there's limited competition. Energy would be another one. I only have one power company. They do want to make me happy, but they're not concerned about me jumping ship as easily as Seth is concerned and wakes up every night and wonders, how is he going to lose a customer and how can he keep that customer happy so that his lifetime value of that customer continues to increase? So in use cases where they don't have that pressure, we'll get higher containment for a lot of the use cases because we don't have to be as proactive in transferring them out of a digital experience where they go to a person. So we'll see some differences and it's use case by use case, but I think what's more important than the number is the fact that we can improve the number. And through use of analytics, through use of heat maps, from use of studies, our engineering teams work with our customers to try to figure out how do we make this better every day. And as a result of that ethos and mindset of continuous improvement, we rarely lose a customer. And customers stay with us for a long time because they're continuing to deliver not only steady state value, but increased value to their customers, to their shareholders and board.
Very interesting. Well, Brad and Seth, I want to thank you both for your time today. It was great learning more about both Pipestream and SLING. I want to announce the winners today of the raffle. With that said, it looks like our first winner is Joel Chima, followed by Debbie Smith and Melinda Keith. Whitney, correct me if I'm wrong, but you'll be in touch with them?
Yep, we will contact the winners. Congratulations, everybody. And thank you so much for joining today. Please reach out to us directly if you would like to have any follow-up conversations. We're more than happy to talk with you about your specific use cases. Seth and Brad, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, everyone, for joining.